Hello and welcome, I'm Mystical, this is Mystical Gaming and we are back into Watcher of Realms. Now today it is the time of having a look at Invigoration set. So here we've got Dolores, we've chucked on an Invigoration set that's got nothing on it whatsoever. So we've got flat attack, we've got flat attack. So there's nothing on there whatsoever. As you can see, no amulet or anything like that. It's just a test on what the set actually does. So 3-piece set. Healing effect plus 25. That's meh. It's okay. That's what it does. Right. Brilliant. Thanks. I'm moving swiftly on. Now it sort of implies there that it's for healers. Okay, that's fine. But it's the next sentence that changes what this set is all about. When deployed, the hero and one random ally in range gain 10% attack. That's what we're after from the set. Now after that 10% attack bonus, that buff that it gives. But how does it work? Who gets it, and all of that sort of stuff. What happens when I despawn, what happens when I respawn, can I reapply it twice, can it stack, can it miss, anything else like that. Let's go in and have a play and see what the buff actually does. Play around in the guild boss easy, and we can fight in here, and we've got a load of champions we can play around with, and we will put some play testing in session. Right, here comes the boss, no great shakes. So there's our Dolores with it on, there she goes down. Now unfortunately there's no buff icon that comes on or anything like that, but if you click on the champion on the top left hand side of the screen, you can see, there you go, attack plus 10%. So we know she's got the buff, and she does one ally as well. So let's place down an ally, and if we check on the ally, there is no buff there whatsoever. So let's quit that battle, and we'll pop back out and we'll pop back in. So the thing to remember about this is it's when deployed. So that effect takes effect when she's deployed. So there has to be a random ally down there. Then you place her down, and you'll see he's got the buff, nice, and now he's got the buff as well. So that's both of them with the buff whatsoever. Happy days. Now, next thing, if I despawn her, fantastic, the buff stays with him. So there's the buff, still on him. So the question is now, can I put the buff on him twice? Well, here's Laurel, she's got a set on her as well. So we'll put her on there, and as we can see, he's now been deployed. He has the buff taking effect on her, and he now has no extra buffs on him. He's just got the one buff on him. You can't double stack the buff. So the next thing is, can I not stack the buff? So if I have, I'll get two fighters down this time. There's one fighter, Emios, there he goes, and there's Dolores. So we have a check on, we've got Dolores with it, which we know we'd have. We'll have one of these on there. We've got Vladov with it on, and then we can't put it on Demios because he's not there. Now if we put our second champion down with it, in range she's got 3 champions, so theoretically she should be able to put the buff on any of those 3. Now we know Dolores has already got it on, we know Vladov's got it on, so the only person without it is Demios on the far right hand side. So now we have a check. Alright, got it. Dolores still got it, Vladov still got it, and there's Demios, he's got it as well. At no point, I've done a few runs on this, have I had a 33% chance go the wrong way. So I think there was a bug once where you could place it on someone who's already got it, but that has apparently been fixed, and through my testing here it definitely has been fixed. There's no way I've managed to get it to miss, for want of a better phrase, or try to put it on someone who's already got it and therefore not put it on. So we know now that we can't put it on the same champion twice. We know that if there is another champion there, it gets put onto the next champion, it doesn't try and double hit them. And we know that if we despawn, the buff stays on there as a permanent buff for us, as opposed to one of the abilities that people get, and that comes off when that person gets removed. Now we've got our 2 champions again, and Poor old Gluttony doesn't have it on, but we'll see how that goes. Now if we just speed this up a touch and we'll wait for them to, their timer to run out so we can spawn them again, we'll have a look what happens then. Here we are. Now this time I put it right over it, so the only person in range is Gluttony. So when she goes down, Dolores is down, there you are, she's got a buff back. She has now been deployed. Gluttony, does not have the buff. She cannot place a buff a second time around. It is only the first deployment, not any number of deployments after that. It appears to be just the first deployment, and that is it. A quick double check of that. Laura goes down, she gets it, but there is no buff passed on. Be aware of that. So who should wear the set? Obviously any attack-based healer is ideal for it, solely because they give themselves a 10% buff, a 10% attack buff anyway. So all your attack-based healers would be good in this set. Now you'd have to fish for the sets anyway, so when you're out there looking at your sets, the odds are you will want attack percentage, then you're going to want maybe rage regen or something like that to go on there as well. Flat attack, but I've only been starting to clear it yesterday. I've done one day at running it and getting some gear, so I've got very little gear of it. But essentially for your healers, you're going to struggle to actually get a good set. I would stick to what you've normally got on there, and then as and when you get good sets, start putting them on there. That is the one place you will possibly use them, on your attack-based healers. That's probably not the only place to use them. Now when I have a look at my gear raid 3, stage 18, go to fight, here we are. Here's an abundance of people that I didn't use, or I used very little of. So to start with, like many other people, I used Laurel Cheese. I pulled her off, I put her back on, I pulled her off, put her back on, and all the time just boosting someone's rage, generally Idril's. Now, first time you put her down, she could buff Idril with a 10% attack. The rest of her gear doesn't need to be any good. I mean, I've got, up until today, I probably had no gear on her whatsoever, or just enough to maybe survive a odd stray hit. But essentially, there's no gear on her, so you could very easily put her in a set of rubbish that you would generally throw away, and then every time you chuck her on there, she's good to go. Another champion I've got in here is Volker. Now Volker is only there to aid the time that it takes from taking Laurel off the map to getting her back on the map. That respawn time is the reason the Volker's on the team. However, now you could put your Volker on the team and put her in Invigoration set. So if you have the spare coin about, you can put her on there and she will buff one random ally with this 10% attack. Now it is random, that's the point, so you may not get the champion you want. However, it's an RNG based thing, you may be able to get the champion you want. So also on this demo I've got Luaria. Now she is just there to give the Lord bonus. That's all she does, is she gives the Lord bonus, and it is that 10%. It's the range that I'm after for our archers. I want our marksmen, I want that extra range on them. However, now realistically what I could have done is I could have put her in Invigoration set. Had I spare 11 coins, I could chuck her down somewhere, I could give someone some 10% attack. I would not only get the Lord bonus, but I'd also get this 10% attack. This isn't the only place that I've used Lords, because you get a 10-man squad, you only place 8 of them down. That leaves 2 people that you're putting in there for essentially either Lord bonuses or Volker for skills, you know, outside. So with that being done, you could quite easily put one of these people in, some of these people in an Invigoration set, just to put on there to give that 10% attack. So that's realistically what the set does. Is it the best set in the world? I don't think so, no. Would I use it above other things? Yeah, I would absolutely use it. I think in my guild boss team I will now have a look at who I place down and in what order and that sort of thing, and the people I'm not using I will put in that set. So my guild boss team will very much run of 2 attackers down, 2 people with Invigoration set on will go down to buff them. I will remove them and then place the rest of the team, and I think that's how I'll go forward with my guild boss team. Okay, so the buff gives 10% attack, but what attack? They can be very different numbers. We've chucked some gear on down the right hand side of Ladoff. There's his attack, plus this, there we go, we can have a little number. We've got 3,700 bit attack, but it's not really relevant at the moment. Chuck him into the boss, we'll hit the fight. Playtest, there's never want to playtest it, we just want to see what the buff actually does to make sure we know what we're doing, what we're dealing with. So, battle off, in you go. And he hits for, let's try not to 1,979. Happy with that. Now then, Dolores down, there's his buff. We now hit for 2,101. Brilliant. We're out there. So we want to add on 10%. So, thanks. There we go, we've got a piece here that increases attack bonus by 10.5%. I couldn't find any 10% on that didn't have any other form of attack on, so that's as close as I can get. So bear in mind, these pieces here that does attack percentage, they increase from your base attack. This is what we're interested in. So we would have got another 113 attack, as opposed to increasing over here by 10%, almost 400. So there should be a difference in this when we jump in it. Now, if we are below, no, we should be just above 2,181. If the buff does your basic. So let's have a look. Oh, we're well under. We're only at 2,039. This buff does your whole attack then, not just your base attack. It's not giving you 10% on your base attack, it's not giving you 10% like your stats give you 66% attack, anything like that. Not like the attack percent works. This is working much like the Keen Wisdom piece works. It's doing your complete attack. So that is very interesting. In the realms of full transparency, then we want to find a piece that's about 375-76 attack to prove that this would then come up to the 2,180. So let's have a look at it. So this is what we've come up with here. We've got 368 additional attack, which isn't the same as the 378 attacks. We're a bit short, so we should now just come under the 2,181. So let's jump in and have a quick check on. Here we go. Fight. The play test. Come on. 2,172. There we go. So absolutely 100%. That buff increases your whole attack, not just your base attack. So when it says attack plus 10%, it's a lot better than it actually seems. Okay, so bear that in mind. That is 10% of your actual whole attack. So let's try and get this in perspective. When we have a look at magnitude there you go. 14,000 attack. You put the buff on her, she gets an extra almost 1,500 attack. Who else have we got here? Look, there's Hex. Okay, 14,000. So if you buff that, you'll get an extra 1,500 attack. So here's the gallery. There's Zillitude. Let's have a look at her. There she is, maxed out. She's only got just over 4,500. So if you have 10% of that, you're getting over 300% more attack by this buff than you would by just having an increased set. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, the buff is so much better than the healing effect of 25. Healing effect of 25, or an extra, if you are full on end game, 1,500. But I mean, you can apply that to yours. I mean, it should scale up. You can get an extra 300% just from this buff, even if the sets are no good. You can put them on your lords you're not using. You can put them on anything you're not using. Those 2 extra slots when you can only put on 8 characters in the match and you've got 10 slots to choose from. You can put them on, take them off. They would just give you that extra attack. Absolutely brilliant. And it's probably just me who's the only person who doesn't know that and has only just realised. But essentially, that's important to know. So, good luck. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.